Thanks everyone for coming to this session for SEP Backup and Disaster Recovery Software. My name is Oliver Bewald. I'm responsible for channels and alliances at SEP. That means I manage the relationships with companies like SAP, with SUSE, with IBM, for example. I'm the key person that manages those relationships worldwide. Also with me today, I'm happy to have Christian Ruoff here with me today. Christian is responsible for our engineering and development roadmaps at SEP, and he also takes care of the technical support management by SEP in Germany. Today we're going to talk about backup for SUSE SLES and SAP HANA, specifically via the SUSE Connect program, which is brand new for SEP. SEP, just a little bit of company background. Headquarters is Munich, Germany. In the Americas, we have locations for pre-sale support, post-sale support in Boulder, Colorado, and we have an office in Boston, Massachusetts. And we specifically also have offices throughout Europe, throughout Germany and the Netherlands. SEP has an international global reach. We're a small company, roughly about 50 team members. 70% of our team is engineering-oriented, engineering and development, and very technically oriented. We've got a very light sales and marketing team. That's why many of you might not have heard about SEP backup software in the past before. But we've been around for 25 years, since 1992. So we're not talking about a startup company here. Out of those 50 team members, we basically reach about 5,000 customers around the world in 50 different countries, heavily leveraging reseller partners. So over 250 SEP certified partners is how we reach end users worldwide. And we have a go-to market strategy specifically with SAP, IBM, Fujitsu, and Lenovo. Like I said, we were founded about 25 years ago in 1992. So we've got financial rock-solid stability. We're a private company though, 100% owned and operated by the owners of the organization. So there's no venture capital influence on the direction of our company. We're proud to show a few customer names up here. Vodafone is a customer. Deutsche Telekom in Germany is a big customer of ours. Government of Canada is a customer. The Aldi supermarket is one of the largest supermarket chains in the world. Here in the United States, you're probably familiar with the branded name Trader Joe's. Well, the parent company is Aldi Supermarkets. Just in a nutshell, just a quick overview of all the things that SEP backup software can support. I'm not going to go through the entire list here today. That's out of the scope of this environment. But when I say we're a private organization not influenced by investors, that means we focus on things that our customers are asking about. So we focus on areas of innovation and upcoming emerging technologies. And that's why we're working very closely with IBM in the Linux One space, IBM System Z mainframe space. Specifically for running Linux on Linux on System Z systems. Also, we're very strong in the IBM Power communities, also specifically for running Linux on Power, and that's another big play for us is SAP HANA systems running on Power. Because we're not influenced by investor direction, that means we can keep an eye on emerging technologies. So for SEP up-and-coming development, we're really focused on things that are very interesting, such as KVM Z, running on Z again, integration with SUSE Enterprise Storage. You heard SUSE talking a lot about that in today's session, where we specifically would like to write backup data into SES as a storage target. And once we have that accomplished, it'll be really interesting what you see coming from SEP in the future, where we're supporting HANA on SES, SUSE Enterprise Storage. And then there's, of course, all the open source databases running in SLES environments. Companies like EDB, Maria, Mongo, Cassandra, those are all areas of future development that we're working on right now today. Our SUSE partnership is really old. We've got a long and active partnership since the year 2000. I think it goes back to SLES 7, if I'm not mistaken, so it's a really old partnership. We, of course, support all the versions up to version 12 today. Disaster recovery of SLES is supported, including bare system recovery, which is very important to bring back an entire SLES system from a total disaster. And of course, we support backup for SLES on Intel systems, on IBM Power systems, and System Z and Linux One. For the SAP HANA space, there's of course a very, very strong cooperation between SAP and SUSE. Many of you guys know that SUSE has their engineering and development. A lot of it's done in Nuremberg, Germany. We're in Munich, Germany, not too far away from SUSE. And of course, our engineers spend a lot of time shuttling back and forth from Munich, Germany up to Waldorf, Germany. So we've got the very, very old relationship with SAP as well. Talking about that SAP relationship, SAP software is both NetWeaver certified and HANA certified. Christian's going to talk about this a little bit more technically in his slides, so I just wanted to point out the red bullets here. SAP has certified SAP software since the year 2002. We've got 15 years of experience working in SAP environments, and we're even promoted by SAP directly in their own SAP marketplace for NetWeaver and HANA. If you search for SAP backup software on SAP's websites, you'll find us there promoted. And we've got the SUSE and SAP certifications. Specifically about the SUSE Connect program, in case you guys missed the press release announcements back around May in the Sapphire event, SUSE Connect now includes SEP backup software. So if we talk about the old ways of doing SAP backup, typically customers and partners always tried to script data to get copied data off of the SAP servers. They've write customized cron jobs, which was a real pain in the butt. And worst of all, when these cron jobs and scripts were written, SAP basically provides no support in case there's problems with those scripts. Even though SAP had written some of those scripts for you guys out there, they do not officially support those scripts. Of course, there's ways to just buy third-party backup software, spend many, many days installing backup software on the market, but there's no reason to necessarily install very heavy backup applications simply to back up SAP HANA. The new way of doing it is simply click a single button when you install SLES for SAP. There's a button that pops up inside the SUSE Connect program. It says, do you want to install some backup? You push the button and SEP backup software automatically installs. It's a great value-added feature from SUSE. That's built right into the YAST tool from SUSE. And what you end up having, that means any customers that are loading SLES for SAP, version 12, Service Pack 1 or Service Pack 2, you'll automatically be able to access the SAP backup software, a fully functional demo system that you can run for a couple of weeks, test it out, nothing's blocked in any of that. So that's all tested and certified with SLES for SAP. Some quick success stories. I'm just going to breeze through these. These are all success stories that we closed together with IBM and Fujitsu and Lenovo. The Port of San Diego, in the transportation industry. German Africa Container Lines is another SAP account that we did together. Neuhage Tires. It's a manufacturing facility over in Europe. Link Sawmills, wood processing, and sawmills manufacturing organization, and Aquisda Pharmaceuticals are all nice success stories that we're all quite proud of. And then briefly, just to talk about the SEP licensing, the way this works, we provide customers a choice on how they'd like to license SEP software from us. There's a classic way to do it where you basically license single modules and agents. You just tell us what you need to license and we give that to you individually. If you don't feel like reporting how many servers you have on SLES and how many databases you have running, how many agents you need for any particular extra modules, you don't need to report that to us. You can switch right to our volume licensing, where you basically just have to tell us how many terabytes on the front end you need to have backed up. And then you basically have full performance, full feature, full functionality of SEP software. Everything is open to you, and you simply can use the software until you run out of front-end capacity, and you just boost that as you grow. And for those of you customers that would prefer a subscription or a software rental model, we also have a subscription licensing, which is also based on front-end capacity. So that's just the introduction to SEP as an overview. I'm going to now turn over the stage to Christian Ruoff, who can go into a little bit more technical detail.
Thank you so much, Oliver.
You're welcome.
You want to give me yours? Or it's it's already warm, you know.
Yes.
Okay, hello. So my name is Christian. I'm from Germany. So when you have, problems, understand what I try to say. I have my translator here sitting. I'm very proud to be again here, a part of this great trade show. It's last year I was not allowed, to go to Amsterdam because it's too close, so it doesn't make sense to go there. But what I really can feel is that the SUSE project gets bigger and bigger, and we can do more and more, so the features are getting more stable, are getting bigger, and of course, our job is with SAP CSAM to try to keep that safe, to give you a possibility to recover everything, or to recover a particular functionality. Because every time when we talk about technology, then it's not trivial, to install everything. So in bigger environments, sometimes we have only development costs, from the consulting side for more than $100,000. So it's important to be able to revert mistakes. Okay. The next thing, of course, is when you install appliances, or databases like a SAP HANA, we don't have to forget how many important data all the persons are writing into a database. So you have to be able to recover it to yesterday 11:53, something like that, because okay, the mistake happened 12 o'clock, so I want to revert or restore everything to a very short time frame before. And of course, all that with one management console, with a very efficient dedup technology, and with the possibility to write it also as a copy on tape, or maybe a second copy to another disk storage, or I want to replicate, or I have to replicate everything to another location. So, and this is what I try to show you now in the next minutes. Overview, free choice of backup server. So maybe this is not the right slide for here, but you can choose whatever you want as operating system for the backup server. So when you feel better with Unix, then install it in Unix. When you feel better with Linux, SUSE, then go ahead, and the friends from Windows are also supported. Physical or VM. So when you have small environments, you can use a VM as a backup server, or when you have a co-location, which is maybe very small, you can set up your backup server, in your central location, and on a little VM out there, you can install our device server and do a backup of this co-location, replicate that to the central environment. User-friendly browser interface, granular object restore. So when we have the chance to do a granular object restore, of course we will cover it. Efficient deduplication, so we work with a variable block length inside, and that makes backup of mixed environments very efficient. So in our case, it doesn't matter if you do a mix of database informations, file system informations, operating system informations, any kind. Excuse me. You can put everything to the same storage, and the deduplication code is also able to get the best efficiency out of this mixed environment. So there is no rule like you have to have Windows on this data store and Linux on this data, so you can just mix it together, and this is very comfortable. Powerful scripting interface. So sometimes customers say, I have my graphical user interface, I don't want to hear something from a command line. But for other companies, they have to run their own pre and post processing, for backup jobs, to do some test restores, to do some implementations in their own web interface. Therefore, it's very important, and each function, what you can see in our graphical user interface, is also something what you can just push as a REST call. Okay, so when you have ideas according to that, it's absolutely possible. Disaster recovery, so Unix, Linux, Windows. So when you work with physical systems, what you have to do sometimes, according SAP HANA, so you need the performance, then you can just, work with a bootable disk or with a flash drive to bring the system back. Okay. Automated restore, backup verification, a very important tool, because nothing is more important to check sometimes automatically, are the backups really as supposed they should be. And this is something what you can just schedule every day, every hour, that we just do an automatic read back, and then you can use any kinds of script if you want to really mount the database, to do tests, to do queries on the database. And then you're 200% sure, not just 100% sure. So yeah, sorry, do I have here a laser pointer? I think so. In the middle? Yeah, here. KVM, this is a new technology, what we did with IBM together, and we will also cover all the other KVM technologies as a hypervisor. I just say that because KVM in this is in the SUSE field very important and good to know. Of course, we support all the other hypervisors as well, but I think for you maybe the KVM story is a very interesting one. Strong partnership. This is what my friend Oliver already mentioned. Successful IBM cooperation with the complete set of hardware. The SAP SISM architecture. So what I try to show you with this slide is what kinds of environments we know, from the last years of consulting installations. So this is, for example, here a typically, one location installation where you have a backup server. On this backup server, you connect any kind of a tape storage, tape library, single tape drive, whatever you want to connect to SAP SISM. So we have no special drivers. So the only thing you really have to take care is this tape drive or this tape library or this disk storage, certified by my operating system. That's it. And then you can just go ahead. And then, of course, we have all the clients out there, here. Operating system, workstations, laptop. Here we have a database server with the different databases like SharePoint, MS SQL, Oracle, DB2, MariaDB, SAP, SAP HANA. So it doesn't matter what it is, okay? You just have to install the agent on this computer, connect it to the backup server, and then you can go ahead with doing backups. Application servers, virtualization environments, so clustered or standalone. This is a very easy thing. So the remote device server is, he has the same options or the same functionalities as the backup server. So we use the remote device server technology for 3 different reasons. Number 1 is your backup server is sitting in a VM, so all the intelligence, the scheduling, the database, the metadata are in an HA mode, so it's very secure, okay? But the data traffic should go to a physical machine because, the performance from a physical environment when we talk about backup is a little higher. So it could be a scenario installing the backup server in a VM and then getting a physical machine with a local attached disk storage with a SAN, iSCSI, tape drive, and then all the data from the client goes directly to the remote device server, okay? The next reason for a remote device server is LAN-free backup. So let's say we talk about IBM, for example, and you have multiple LPAs, then it would make sense to install on each LPA SAP SISM client, and SAP SISM remote device server, and each LPA has a direct attached backup storage. So you don't have to transfer the traffic over the network, okay? This is the second one, what you can do. The third point is a remote device server helps you just make your backup environment bigger. So let's see after 2 years, your first investment, you figure out that the backup server, the performance is bad, so you have too much data written on your backup storage, and also the I/O from the system is not good enough, to take care of all your data. So the only thing you have to do is buy a second machine, install the remote device server on the system, and then you can split your backup tasks. Okay? So it's a very easy process to just, what's your real name? Scale. Thank you. To scale the environment, okay? Thank you. And the option number 4, of course, is you can replicate files from one location to another location. So let's say because of compliant reasons, you have to have a copy somewhere else. maybe sitting in the cloud, you know, on a machine, or maybe sitting just in a co-location of you. Just install the remote device server there, and we replicate the deltas from the backup between these two locations. So, and then you know, okay, when something bad happens to location 1, I can just start recovering everything at location B. Very easy. You don't need special features for that. Yeah, this is what I mentioned before here, a micro environment, you know, medium environment, but interesting is you can move all that with just one backup server. So there's one central point of administration where you can really take care of all the other locations, and it doesn't matter how big they are. You know, what you can see is after small, because here is something what you can cover with source-side dedup. So let's say you really have just an office somewhere with 4 machines, you know, just install the SAP HANA client on it, turn on the source-side deduplication, and you don't need a remote device server to cache that, you know, out there. But when you feel like, okay, my bandwidth is just a T1 or a T5 or whatever, you know, then it makes sense to install a remote device server here. That means the data are going from your servers or workstations to the remote device server. They sit there for, you know, what you tell SAP HANA. So you can just, you know, do retention times like 1 week, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 1 year, and then you can do a replication to the backup server in your central area. Yeah, and here we have data center 2. This is just an example when you have a separate data zone. Like you want to offer doing backup as an MSP, for example. Then you have to clarify with your customer, is it allowed to write the data together even when they are encrypted to the same storage? Or is it necessary to just turn on your own backup server in my environment? Okay? But therefore, we have a dashboard and we have a master graphical user interface. So even when you work with more backup server, you can do the administration from one graphical user interface. So that, you know, don't get too big or too hard, you know, when you have to work with more customer environments. Yeah, so, and this is so the thing, hybrid backup. And all that what you can see out here stands for everything what we support. So it doesn't matter, you know, what kind of operating system it is. It doesn't matter what kind of application or database it is. We always try to work with the manufacturer of these applications together to find the best and efficient way to do a consistent backup of that. Then here, a little better explained, also, yeah, according to, of course, database environments or mixed environments with database, groupware like a mail server, doesn't matter what it is, file server, and this is, for example, the backup server. This shows when you install on each system the component remote device server, you can do a LAN-free backup directly to the SAN-attached backup storage. So the only traffic what really goes over the network are metadatas, and this is necessary when we talk about one file server with, let's say, more than 10 terabytes of data, okay? Because let's say we talk about a 10 gigabit Ethernet connection, we talk about a maximum transfer, you know what I saw with my own eyes, okay? Around about 3 terabytes. So this is the maximum I saw with a Cat7 cable and a 10 gigabit Ethernet connection. This is what you can transfer from a system to the backup server. Approximately 3 terabyte an hour. So when we talk about a 1 gigabit connection, we talk about approximately 390 gigabytes an hour. So this is the maximum, okay? So it's a very easy calculation, and therefore sometimes it makes sense to just, you know, go directly to a direct attached storage because it really speeds up the backup and the restore performance. LAN-free backup. The next scenario is a mixed environment. So let's say I have here, yeah, sometimes, you know, when you have more buildings and the network connection is not really given everywhere because it's a very old architecture or something, then you can also do something like you turn on your backup server here, which is connected to your network, and is also connected to your SAN storage, okay? And then you can just do a file level backup over the network to the backup server. But the same storage, of course, when you just create a second volume, can be used by a remote device server, which takes care on the database server and on these two servers. So this is also, you know, a very possible scenario, what you can have in your company. This graphic also shows us when you do a backup, a database backup, for example, like Oracle or SAP HANA or DB2, we can really split it to multiple streams so that the backup time goes down. Yeah, for SAP HANA, for example, we can start the backup of the main database and the backup of the logs in more multiple streams. So maybe we can drive the backup of 5 log files and the backup of the database together at the same time, what makes it very efficient and very fast. The next scenario is, for example, that you do an NDMP or an SMB3 backup from your different storage systems to the remote device server, and the remote device server writes it back here to your backup storage. Okay, so this is when we talk about a NetApp or a EMC, or you know what kind of storage supports or we talk about storages which supports NDMP or SMB3. The next scenario is our bare metal recovery functionality. Sometimes, you know, administrator, they don't really know why they use bare metal recovery anymore. But in reality, when we talk about working on a physical server environment, you have to have bare metal recovery, because from all administrators I ever talked with, only 60% have a really, let's say, a working documentation to reconstruct physical server environments, like mount points, like logical volumes, like virtual RAID systems, and so on. You know, only the size of the different mount points can harm your environment. So when you don't know what the size of your, I don't know, of your database volume was when it's too small, then you can really start over again with a whole restore process, for example. And therefore, it's cool to have a bare metal recovery solution in place, which makes every day a very little, we call it micro backup, from your partition tables, from your volumes, all these informations together with a very small Linux kernel or Unix kernel. That means when one of the system dies, let's talk about it's your database server, okay, what would really harm you? You can just go buy a new system, insert the boot CD or the flash drive, and recover everything back. The next thing you can do, and that makes life for you very flexible, is you can also recover your physical guest back to a virtual machine. Because this is most of the time the easiest way, because buying a new hardware very quick for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30,000 is harder than just thinking about, okay, maybe I just give a new storage to my virtual environment, okay? And when it's certified, you know, then there is nothing, you know, what makes that looking bad. So you can just insert this ISO image in your hypervisor, just spin up a new VM, boot this VM, and then really start restoring everything back to this VM. And then from this moment on, you can just drive your service on a virtual machine. Okay, this is also possible with our bare metal recovery technology. Deduplication. Deduplication gives you the possibility to get rid of storages with very, very, very large disk volumes. So you can just really reduce the amount of disks in your RAID system. Of course, you have to have enough heads, you know, that the performance is good. But when we talk about, you know, that you really can bring, let's say, 10 terabyte down to 500 gigabyte, okay, then this is from the cost and from the thermal perspective, you know, something what you should have when we talk about backup. So this shows us that, and it's also certified by SAP, when you drive backup from the database, from the log files, and from the applications with the dedupe technology, the efficiency is very high. So, because it's nothing like what we cannot dedupe. We just make, you know, we load every block in the memory, and then in the memory we create a hash, and we just, you know, see if this hash is already available, or the chunk, you know, with the same hash, and if not, we write it down. And it works perfect also for database environments. The inline deduplication, yeah, I think you know how deduplication works. We talked about that right now. I think important for you is this here. You can really realize up to 90% storage savings, okay? And I think this is very interesting. What's important to say, because I'm a technician, deduplication is great. For high performance reasons, it maybe makes sense to have also a storage without deduplication. So an ideal scenario for a perfect backup solution would be having a very fast disk storage as your first target device, and then do a copy or a migration from the save sets to a disk storage with deduplication, so that you really have a kind of a long-term storage available, and a second migration to a tape storage, where you can just bring your tape out to a bank or to a safe place. So this would be the ideal concept. But you can mix it, you know, you can do the backup initial to the dedupe storage first, and then do a migration to a faster disk and to tape, or you start with tape. So this is really up to you. Everything is possible in this scenario. The replication, here just a funny slide that we can make colored slides. And the good thing is deduplication, I think with, I don't know, how many letters do you need to write all Harry Potter books? 40, 50? And this is, how deduplication works. When you have a bunch of blocks in your backup, then, it's not really growing anymore. It's really growing just 1%, 2.5%. This is the maximum what I saw in the field. Backup in 6 steps. So question number 1 is, what do we have to back up? What's the name, the host name of my server, of my client? Number 2 is, where should we make the backup to? Do we want to use tape? Do we want to use disk or something else? How? The how stands for how can I realize the different retention times. And this is also very easy with SAP SISM. You can just create layers on your disk. So let's say you have one big disk with 100 terabytes. You can just open a section with, I don't know, the retention time of 1 week. And this section is called media pool. And then you can open a second section with the retention time of 100 days and another one for 10 years. And the same for tapes. You just create pools. Okay, and when you start a backup to the yearly pool, then you know for sure, okay, it's protected for 10 years, for example. This is how it works. The next point is what? Backup jobs, of course. So let's say we talk about SAP HANA, what we will see in the next slide. We have to take care on the database, on log files. When we talk about, I don't know, VM backup, VMware, for example, we just have to take care that we talk to the vCenter server, and the vCenter server gives us the information which blocks have to be backed up, that we really have a consistent backup of this particular VM, and so on. The next thing is when. Of course, schedules, Say, okay, I start every night 8 p.m. with my incremental backup, incremental VM backup, incremental database backup, incremental file backup, and on one special day every month or every week, I start my full backup. This is what you can realize with a schedule. Very easy. Yeah, and then the when starts, and yeah, this is just a little overview how the backup process works with SAP. And it doesn't matter about what kind of backup we are talking about. It works for all our modules the same way. This is what it makes it very easy for you, to manage it for small and for bigger accounts. Yeah, here another description. But Oliver, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they will get the slides, don't they? Yeah, so you can just, go again in here and read the different features here. Hypervisor support, VMware, of course, very strong relationship. We cover pretty much all features, what you need for your environments. Citrix Xen Server, also a very strong relationship. So we just started with a new technology, what we will bring out next year. Hyper-V, of course, Red Hat Ref, and, I don't know, did we? No. So the next thing what will come out is KVM. Okay, so the only thing when we talk about a KVM backup is the correct KVM version and with some features. And when you have that, you really can just browse your VMs, create backup tasks, and run them on any kind of backup storage. Yeah, a couple of words to SAP. Oliver mentioned before, we know SAP since many years. Because of the German relationship, it's very easy for us to take care of this relationship, and we have many certifications for NetWeaver environments, for the whole HANA feature set, so you can run HANA on any kind of operating system, and we have the stamp, we are certified, you can go ahead with SAP HANA. Okay, so, and the next good thing is because of this certification, and this is the most important information I think for you when we talk about SAP, when you have a support issue with your database, exactly in this moment it's very important that, so let's say your SAP team, the support team tells you, I'm sorry, but we have to do a recover. And when you tell them, yeah, we can do kind of a recover, but I did scripts or I did it with a software which is not certified, then, it's hard for the support to help you. But when they know, oh, cool, it's backend, it uses the backend, it's certified, then everything is fine. And they will just help you, through the nightmare and bring everything up and running with you together. And SAP CISO. SAP on MaxDB. Sybase is coming soon, so I think the free, is it a free alternative to Sybase?
We should have talked about what SAP is giving away for free, but yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just curious, but Sybase is something that comes very soon, and interface, yeah, BR tools for Oracle, DBM CLI for MaxDB, and the backend or the HDX backend for SAP HANA. So when we talk about SAP HANA, it uses backend, as I already mentioned. We can do full different incremental backups from the database. The backup state can be checked from the SAP CISM server as well from the SAP HANA Studio. And this is important because most of the time, the backup administrator of a company and the database administrator are not the same person, of course. So when you have to tell your DBA, hey, can you visit a workshop next week, that you know how the new backup software works? And he says, of course not, I'm the DBA. I just want to, use my time for, my database structure and infrastructure. And that's the reason why with this integration, you can start backups from both sides, you can start restores from both sides, you can manage from both sides, you can make sure that the backups were successful from both sides. It doesn't matter, okay? And this is very important. Backups could be automated in different ways. Yeah, so it doesn't matter how you want to turn on your backup. If you want to, run them from the SUSE, from the SAP Studio, if you want to run them from SAP CISM, it's really up to you. What fits better to your infrastructure. I would, of course, use the scheduling functionality of SAP CISM. Simply installation and configuration with the install script, because it's the first question. Okay, Christian, what do I have to do on my SAP HANA server? Something, bad with, writing a ton of scripts. I say, no. The only thing you have to do is install the SAP CISM agent, okay? You can decide SAP CISM client, then the traffic goes over your network, or SAP CISM remote device server, then the backup goes to a direct attached backup storage. And are we already out of time? No. Okay, perfect. And the next thing is, we have a script, you know, what changed all the necessary libraries. So it's just one script you have to execute, and after you run the script, you can see in the SAP HANA Studio, great, there is already SAP SESAM visible for my database and for my log file backup. Yeah, multi-tenancy support, and here is a YouTube tutorial what you can watch. So you see the video has 7 minutes, and this is exactly the time what you need for the installation of your SAP HANA environment, for the backup of your SAP HANA environment. Yeah, how does it work? A little better slide. We have here our SAP HANA database, and here we have our HTTP backend interface where we connect to and where we also install our libraries to, so that the HTTP backend is really allowed to push and pull backups to us and from us. So that means when your DBA wants to start a restore from his HANA Studio, then he can just say, I want to do a point-in-time restore yesterday, 10 something, and then it connects to the backup server, and the backup server, delivers the data, and it doesn't matter if it's on dedup, on tape, on disk, it just happens automatically, okay? The only thing the backup administrator will see is an email that a backup was initiated, and something in a GUI. Oh, cool, restore is active. Here we have the HTTP SQL, the SAP HANA Studio. You also have the possibility, of course, to work with cron jobs, or you use the SAP scheduling. But to make it easy, of course, use the SAP scheduling. And of course, when you have an offsite location, you can do a replication from all your very sensitive and important data to a remote device server somewhere else. Microsoft SQL, I saw the paper, Microsoft loves Linux, so we love Microsoft as well. So, and we support that, and we will also support MS SQL on Linux. I don't know if you're aware about that will happen. So, and we will of course support it because it sits on our favorite operating system, and I don't know. For me, it looks very easy and very cool. Of course, the backup concept changed, but let's say it's not rocket science, because they really try to make everything pretty much equal, to that how they drive it on Windows. But as you can see, also here you can do full incremental copied backup, so everything you wanna do or you need for your environment. Yeah, generation restore with ink. This is also very important. So even when you work with a database which has not a special backend or a special RMAN, for Oracle, you can decide between, do you want to make the backup with a backend, or is it maybe better for you to drive it with the RMAN because of the big feature set? Even with databases without these powerful APIs, you can run directly out of SESAM here a generation restore with your incremental backups. What you should drive all 10 minutes or each half an hour in a productive environment. Oracle, RMAN interface, SAP Agent contains a media management library. It's really, as you can read, very, very flexible, and you can run these different kind of backup modes. And and this is very important because you have to be able to run incremental backups, because this is the only chance to make the time to do a point-in-time restore acceptable. Different archive log levels. So when you want to know more, about Oracle, then just ask me after the session. Yeah, and this is again a little circle what we support right now with our solution, and I think there is everything on it what makes you happy. If not, let us know. We talk about it. Oliver mentioned before, we are a very dynamic, flexible company. So, and without a big sales head and marketing head, that's the reason why we are very fast in develop new technologies and do a Q&A of it. Yeah, this is the last slide. I just want to show you very quick, Oliver, how much time do we have left?
We have about 10 minutes left for questions or demos or anything you want to do.
Yeah, I just want to show you, how this SAP SESAM looks like, you know. I hope my VM is also playing with me. Oh, actually it's not. Give me 1 second.
That last slide showed that if you guys have more interest, we also wrote a joint white paper together with SAP and SUSE. So it's a little bit more technical information about how we tie into HANA. That's something that feel free to just write Christian or an email. And we'll jump up and pull our contact information back up in a minute when he's done with this.
Yeah, so you see, it's perfectly fits in a SLES 12. And yeah, so I also installed the graphical user interface on it. Just very quick that you have an idea how it looks like. It's a very fast, dynamic GUI, Java-based. You can really open it on each operating system. We also have the first web components there. So, you know, like a dashboard was, of course, you know, the most important point for a backup administrator, that he can, you know, watch every day what's going on. I haven't had the time to install a SSL certificate. Yeah, here for example, one view you can see, okay, I drove 167 backups yesterday and I had 4 errors, okay? So you can just open it and then you can click on the errors. A little, you know, more downstairs you have an overview of your backup size, of your backup time, so that you can optimize that a little more. You have also one view of your backup storage, so you know if there are any actions necessary before the full backup on the weekend starts. So everything is in there, and the administration happens over this very fast and flexible graphical user interface. So you can just here, this is the installation section where you can connect to all the servers in your environment, for example. Here you can connect all your storage devices, disk storage devices, tape libraries, single tape drives. Here you can create the different retention times we talked about. And here you're able to say, I want to replicate my files, I want to migrate my files, do a copy of it to another storage, or let's say after 10 years you figure out LTO has to close, or EBM, what never will happen, and the new technology is, I don't know, laser tape, then you're able to migrate everything to laser tape, of course, you know, with the migration technology. And the last section is scheduling. And this is what you have to do. You know, this is your installation process. You can push the updates to your multiple servers central from this backup server. So this makes it also very easy and comfortable for you. And yeah, that was just, you know, a short view how it looks on a SLES 12. So now, do you have any questions? Any kind of questions? Like, yeah, please.
So you mentioned SUSE enterprise storage earlier. So, and I wasn't quite sure when you were saying that could be a backup target for. So we could use SUSE enterprise storage to push the backups too. Is that in place today, or?
Sure, that's the conversation we're having with SUSE today, specifically because SES, SUSE Enterprise Storage, could potentially be a tape library replacement. So you could use SES as just a big pool of storage target data where we want to push the SAP HANA backups and have it land into SES.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're low in disk space, just put a bunch of new nodes in with disks. So, and tell SEP, hey, you have more space now. Yeah.
And that goes to our working relationship with SUSE. As SUSE brings out new technologies on the market, we always monitor that and work with product management teams from SUSE just to make sure that SEP could support all those new technologies. And SES is a perfect example.
Can you talk about a little bit more about your Oracle experience in backup area?
About, sorry, excuse me?
Oracle experience, specifically SAP on Oracle or Oracle in general?
Oracle in general, only Oracle.
you have some experience?
Yeah, I think, you know, a very good example is Port of San Diego, for example, but I think that was the 10 years ago, the first customer with over 200 Oracle databases. So we don't talk about, you know, little instance, we really talk about big databases. And so what can I tell you? The multi-streaming technology allows you to bring the backup window as much as possible down to a, you know, to a useful time. The full integration in the RMAN makes your DBA a very easy life, so he can really just sit down as he was used the last 10 years and do a restore, and he don't have to take care on which, is it on tape or is it on disk or is it replicated. He will just receive the data. You can mix Oracle on Windows, Oracle on Linux. You can, so it's really it's a very stable solution.
And fully certified by Oracle as well.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a booth, you know, just come by and ask us some more when you need more information. And yeah, we are really happy to give you a demo. So because the easiest way to feel how a backup solution works is to give us a call and just ask for 1 or 2 hours remote session where we just play together and spin up a demo on a VM in your environment or something like that, you know? And then you really can feel how easy and how powerful it is. And then from this point on, you can just play a little and see how it works.
Or with the SUSE Connect program, just click on the button and you'll have SAP installed.
Yeah. Good. So
we're here with our booth, so any further questions, come see us at the booth. Thanks for joining the session.
yeah, thank you so much, guys.